Alright, so here's the thing. Mazda has two SUVs that, on paper, look almost identical, but in reality, they are very different. The CX-5 is still the original, it's been around longer, and it's actually one of Mazda's best-selling vehicles, even in 2025. But now the CX-50 is coming in strong, and it's quickly become one of their top sellers too. So now you've got this weird situation where both are popular, both are good, and both cost about the same, which makes this way harder than it should be. And trust me, you don't want to be stuck with the wrong one. So which one should you get? Well, let's find out. Starting with the CX-5, well, it's a Mazda, and no one is better at making something that's sporty, aggressive, yet elegant at the same time. The new CX-5's platform makes for completely different proportions than those of the CX-50. The front end mixes Mazda's current shield grille with slimmer headlights. It's just more attractive to look at. From the side, a lower hood and short front overhang in addition to an extra 4 inches in overall length give it a more imposing stance, while the wheelbase's 5-inch growth adds more space inside, which we will talk about later. The wheel arches are now gloss black instead of the old models being body-colored. Out back, and this is my favorite angle, the taillights are the biggest departure from the current Mazda styling. Instead of the usual circular theme, the lighting elements are slim and stretched toward the middle, but the brand's name is actually spelled out this time. The bumper is painted in gloss black with two real exhausts, rounding out a really handsome design. As for the CX-50, you can immediately tell that it's going for a more aggressive off-roader look. Take the front end for example. The way the front grille is shaped being broader and horizontal in conjunction with the massive air inlets on each corner emphasize its width and give it a grounded stance. The headlights on the other hand just keep the circular design theme of the old model and fit seamlessly into a really aggressive front end. From the side, the hood is even longer than the new CX-5's and gives it a much more refined stance than the traditional upright look of every other SUV. The lower roofline also makes it seem much longer, but they are actually identical in length. The only complaint here is that the base model can look basic compared to the other trims with its smaller 17-inch wheels and cheaper plastic trim throughout. Out back, the slim taillights have a depth to them with the same circular theme found up front, again emphasizing just how wide the CX-50 is. Overall, the proportions are what really sell the CX-50, giving it a significant road presence without compromising on its ground clearance. But which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below, and hit that like button too. Jumping inside, the CX-5's cabin is completely new, but it's a mixed bag. Now, while the overall design is pretty good, usability has taken a hit, especially compared to the CX-50. Leatherette is standard with real leather available on the Premium and Premium Plus trims. The low-wide dash has nice main panels that are upholstered and stitched. There are a few signs that Mazda tried to save money, however, in certain places, such as the center console being covered in plain black plastic, along with the upper door trim. Another negative change is the lack of climate controls, which now live on the center screen. Speaking of screens, another big change is infotainment. It comes standard with a big 12.3-inch touchscreen, while the Premium Plus trim comes with a massive 15.6-inch unit. Both are bright and responsive, with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto capability that's wired on the entry-level trim and wireless on higher ones. The integrated HVAC controls on the screens are permanent to try and make up for the lack of physical controls. The 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster is standard and can display Google Maps when needed. As for the CX-50, it still keeps the old CX-5's usability but with the added elegance of the new model. The dashboard is clean and simple, favoring straight lines to once again emphasize the width of the interior. The dark leather is draped throughout the cabin, helping the CX-50 feels incredibly premium, especially with contrast piping and stitching on the seats. Almost every touchpoint is crafted from a soft touch material too. One niggle, however, is that the horizontal vents in the dashboard aren't hidden, resulting in the plastic being the focal point instead. However, this cabin is still a very pleasant space to spend time in and is a big win in its physical controls, especially for the HVAC system. As for infotainment, the CX-50 still uses the old system. All but the base model comes with a 10.25-inch widescreen display. Most functions, including operating the navigation system, are done with the control knob. The standard Apple CarPlay and Android Auto can be operated with the touchscreen. The gauge cluster is very basic with only a small screen in the middle for the speedometer and other basic functions. Here's the takeaway. While they both have really good interiors, the CX-50's elegant yet functional cabin is my favorite here. When it comes to passenger cargo space, the CX-5's wheelbase is 5 inches longer than the old model, allowing for even more space inside. The front occupants have plenty of room length and height-wise, but the second row is where this model really shines. Legroom is now amongst the best in its class with a very comfortable bench. As for cargo space, it's again bigger than the previous model. Behind the second row, you get a good 34 cubic feet, fold them flat, and you get a really good 67 cubic feet. The CX-50, on the other hand, doesn't really translate its outer dimensions into usable space inside, mainly due to the front end and general proportions that make it as appealing as it is to look at. The seats are supportive and offer a large range of adjustments, ensuring good comfort for longer drives. The rear space, however, is slightly better in the CX-5 with just shy of an inch in extra legroom. Headroom, however, is more restricted. As for cargo space, the CX-50 is way smaller than the CX-5. With the seats up, you will find 31.4 cubic feet. Drop them down, and you have an even smaller 56.3 cubic feet to work with. As far as pricing goes, the Mazda CX-50 starts at $29,900, but you should go with the S Meridian Edition model. It comes standard with all-wheel drive, dual-zone climate control, heated front seats, 8-way power driver's seat, and the larger 10.25-inch infotainment system with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The CX-5 also starts at the exact same $29,900, but the trim level to get is the mid-range preferred trim. It comes with everything that the base and select models offer and adds 19-inch wheels, a power liftgate, a head-up display, heated steering and front seats, and 10-way power adjustments for the driver's seat. The bigger infotainment display is exclusive to the top Premium Plus trim at $38,900. As you can see, both start at the same price and are only around $1,000 of each other in other trims, so it will really come down to driving dynamics and which one you ultimately prefer to decide this whole thing. When it comes to on-road performance, the standard 187 horsepower 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine carries over to the new 2026 CX-5. Sadly, however, the more powerful turbo 2.5-liter is gone. There is also a CX-5 hybrid in the works that Mazda says will arrive in the 2027 model year. The first thing you notice when you hit the road is how quiet the CX-5 rides. At cruising speeds, the cabin is hushed and the ride feels reasonably sedate on most roads. Under acceleration, however, the 2.5 can get quite noisy. Ride quality, even on 19-inch wheels and low-profile rubber, is smooth and well-composed on all but the roughest roads. It's great for everyday driving with better-tuned steering that feels more direct and nicely weighted. The CX-50, on the other hand, still offers the turbo 2.5-liter in addition to the 2.5 naturally aspirated. And as you probably guessed, the turbo variant is the better option, with ample power at 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque on premium fuel. For 2026, you can get it with the RAV4's hybrid system with 219 horsepower. But honestly, you should just stick with the turbo variant. With predictable handling and sports car accurate steering, the CX-50 is a pleasure to hustle through corners. When you put them head-to-head, this is where things really start to separate. The CX-5 uses independent rear suspension, and you really feel it. It's smoother over bumps, more composed, and just feels more refined overall. It kind of isolates you from the road in a good way. The CX-50 goes with a cheaper torsion beam setup. It's simpler, a bit tougher, and you feel more of what's happening underneath you. That makes it feel more connected, but also a little firmer, especially on rough roads. So, which one should you get? Honestly, neither is straight up better, they're just better at different things. If you care about comfort, refinement, and how the car feels every day, the CX-5 is the better choice. The independent rear suspension just gives it a better overall feel, and it's clearly tuned for everyday driving. But when it comes to quality, the CX-50 really steps things up. Its modern and premium cabin, in addition to the better physical controls, makes it the clear winner in my eyes.